Okay. So do this again. So yesterday, I was tinkering with the idea of So initially I had the concept of radar on the level. But you can't assign, so even though I've got radar here, I can't assign that, and I definitely can't say, oh, by the way, this tank takes this radar. And you would know. So what I'm trying to figure out is, so the enemy has a radar, which is okay, has access to a radar, which is fine. That's its thing telling it, hey, you need to fire in this direction. If I assign the radar to the level, then I suppose oh, actually, if I have a export private enemy manager, so the enemy, that's what I was doing yesterday. Mr. Jones, good afternoon. How you doing? Just afternoon. So the enemy manager right now. So I need that. So I'm going to follow this path down, no matter what, and see where it goes, just to try and get back to where I was with the original level, with the disconnected thing. So the idea is that basically I can include level 1 here. I can assign that enemy manager. I can assign that radar. That works okay. But the problem is that enemy manager would then reference all the enemies globally. So that's not right, because then when the level changes, this enemy manager needs to reload its enemies based upon the level. Not sure if that's the right kind of navigation, not the right property. So again, the enemies need a radar. So to do that, I'd have to say the enemy manager would have to get the radar, right? Because then this would have to know, okay, well, by the way, that's on the right monitor already. Good. Okay. It just gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Um, that should work. So the enemy manager. So if I make this a method, load level, alright. If enemies is not null, then we kind of need to discard what we have. Not sure that's necessarily correct, because that will not free up the enemies, so that might have to change later. So private radar radar equals get parent, but get node. So the challenge here is I'm not sure if I can get the radar. Okay. Because the enemies won't behave correctly here, that's for certain. Get node. So again, what does this look like is the challenge. So world map slash no, it's so what's get parent give me? That gives me the main scene. So if I go get node, what get node? Where am I? Ooh, I did a thing. I did finally some event storming. Nice. How'd that go? A plus to ChatGPT's help in the storming. I've never tried event storming. Yeah, absolutely. I attended one of the first talks. I met the guy who came up with it. And I never tried it. Yep, no worries. Huh. Back again. So there I summarize the important events from all the different parts are generated. So dispatcher events. Here's a detailed sequence of events from, what made you pick this domain? In the process of taking a cab, several key actors are involved, each playing a specific role to ensure a smooth and efficient experience. Here are the primary actors: customer, cab dispatcher, cab driver, cab company, technology dispatch system, payment processor, customer service representative, regulatory authorities, support staff. So each in that list are a potential list of events. Accounting events. When to implement the visitor pattern in a cab company's vanilla implementation. Fare collection. Driver payments, commissions, expense recording, revenue recognition, billing and invoicing. Cab company wants to implement a new system to handle fare calculations, driver assignments, and ride tracking to improve efficiency and customer satisfaction. The goal is to ensure the system is reliable, easy to maintain, and can be extended with new features in the future. Code is structured overall using the visitor design pattern. When one passenger calls out time, otherwise the line is busy. Passenger must call in to get the cab. No other methods available for MVP. Huh. So this is your TDD kata, essentially. Right. Passenger, choose passenger, add passenger, cancel. Back to main, call cab company, pay cabbie. Nice. Huh. That's a lot of output. Right, yeah. But it's helped you think through it and get those sorts of, I mean, so like the event storm summary of the actors, the relevant events, I see these. Yeah, modeling that will be quite the challenge. Cab driver events, receiving assignment, navigation to pickup, arriving at pickup, picking a customer, start the meter, driving, Taking cab events. Decision to take a cab. Decide to take a cab based on factors such as weather, distance, convenience, or urgency. Stand at a cab stand at curb. Use a mobile app to hail a cab. Signal to an available cab by raising your hand and making eye contact. Wait for the cab to pull over. Confirm the cab is available. Engage in conversation with the driver if you wish. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, in general. Street hailing, cab stand dispatch, mobile app. E-hailing. Yeah. Pre-booked, hotel, concierge, airport, regular, corporate. I mean, there's a blend of events and circumstance. Like hotel, concierge, airport, and like events and festivals. They're kind of a location. I mean, yeah, hotel and concierge, maybe someone else hails the cab or calls for the cab. Airport and events and festivals, the likelihood is you're holding up your hand, but there's a queue. Yeah. Okay, so that's the difference. Where the cab actually starts. But it's not. I don't know if that's an event necessarily more than a situation. Does it bear relevance to, you know, if you're modeling the queuing of the cabs, then yeah, okay. You have an order. I would imagine that's very different based upon each municipality. But it's kind of situation rather than event, is what I'm saying. Hi, what are you working on? Hi, Diedrich. Right now I'm just reviewing something that Dota's put together. He's working on a Carta for TDD, and has been putting together an event storm summary of all the things he's going to do. What I'm working on is a Godot project, a game. I'll be working on this Mondays and Tuesdays, and trying to learn more about game development. Yeah. I mean, you've labelled it as Carter, but yeah, you are right. It is a bit more. It's blown past Carter level. If you model all this out, then this will be a good. Also take that route to learn more about C#. So, background on me, I have been a .NET developer for 20 years. I have not done game development before. I normally build applications. So Godot with C# is because I'm more comfortable with C# than GDScript. And I'm trying to learn my way around how I might develop a game. Stumbling, falling, and learning some hard lessons along the way. So yeah, I'll be developing this. Yeah, I've been doing .NET since the early 2000s, so it's not the .NET part isn't too new to me. The how to structure it as part of a game is. Again, we're labeled that way, right? We're labeled full stack. Like how you. Well, we know my opinions on full stack, but so normally, so on Wednesdays through Fridays, I develop an application based around Angular and a full full application event distributed system. And I built this on the other days of the stream. So this is an application for planning and stuff. So this is the other project I work on. So I do 2 days of game dev and 3 days of app dev a week. So I like to mix it up. So right now, just the fun learning part, and then the rest of the week I do the actual. Like, it's not too rare, I don't think. I think that Angular definitely isn't the more popular framework these days. You want to know that an actually really competent Angular developer. So Camille is a very good developer. Uses a lot more tools around Angular as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Delta, yeah, absolutely. I think that's really cool. That was a good exercise from lots of it. It's identified the things you need. I think it's got a lot to work off there. Yeah, like I said, I've never really tried event storming. It didn't kind of feel like a path I could follow when I first looked into it. I feel like I had the MVP lined out now, where before the project would be shifting. That's actually the same. That same dread feeling of I don't know really what I'm going to change and what I'm going to do is starting to settle in here. Because like I've got the requirements tab down here. Like I've got the layout working right, but I'm not wholly comfortable with what this means and how this panel is going to work and what features I need to focus on and what things I want to do. So I've got a plan, but it's not well formed enough. So that feeling is settling in with me. Okay, but games. So what I was doing before was trying to figure out. So what is this event in? Where am I? I'm in the level. No, I'm in the enemy manager. Good old pen and paper. I'm a scribbler. I'm kind of chaotic in my design, so I feel like those screens are made high level are likely good, but there's going to be details. There's always going to be details missing. There's always going to be nuances or quirks of how you have to. You can never take a clear expectation and transfer it directly to software, well, at a larger level, right? If you got the nothing translates straight off paper or virtual paper, whichever way we're going, straight into code. There's always, oh, well, I need to do this and I need to layer it and organize it this way, and it can change that. But yeah. So, but you'll do it. I mean, that's it's manageable. So I'm in the enemy manager. I'm attached to, oh, that's the problem. I'm loaded into a scene. Get what's it called? That's the main scene. World map, no. Oh, that's... I keep opening the wrong thing now. Hey, Scooby Snacks, how you doing? Welcome in. For those that are stricken by Twitch ads, they're going to start in a couple of minutes. Is it FYI? I apologise. Wrong app. So I am in... On Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm going to mix it up a little bit, and I am going to... That's why that's world map. Assign level 1. I am going to do some game dev for the time being. Water Drink Water is still a project I want to work on, right? So Water Drink Water is the project that I want to use as kind of a discussion app, a reference app, things like that people can tinker with and use to discuss. But I don't want to run too far ahead on this and build too much on my own, because then the application becomes intimidating. So if people join the stream and are looking for an app to tinker with and play with that is I'll happily talk about and support development with, then this is the app for that. But rather than spend 2 days a week working solely on this, I'm mixing up a little bit and doing a bit of game dev, which is something totally new. So watch me struggle through trying to apply what I use as an app developer, an application developer. Every time I say app, people think mobile. Into game dev, and see if they apply. So the thing I did there was I assigned the level, right? So the world map here. So this game manager, that is actually, it's not a tile map, is it? That's level, and that's current level. All right. So enemy manager is like, this project management app has taken a turn. Yeah, you will. That's why. That's why it needs to be that. What if I do level? Yeah, that would be quite the turn, wouldn't it? No, the project management stuff is still going. This is what project management currently looks like, right? I'm working on it. But yeah, it's kind of I'm using this as kind of like a palate cleanser, I suppose. It's the complete disconnect from everything businessy and heavy, and yeah. I think what I'm doing here is I'm basically letting myself fall into a trap of creating too many dependencies. And that's going to bite me later. But that's okay right now. Right, so if I build this now, what's going to happen is this is going to get a property of map. That map happens to be that map, which is weird because now the level has... that seems to me some sort of weird circular reference. These will be assigned later. Level... I just want to make that public as well, I think. And that doesn't need to be exported. So I'm never gonna assign that through there. I'm never gonna assign that through there because they're both gonna be set by Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Why did you do that to me? I'm okay with namespaces. So the way the stream works, if anyone's new to the stream, is like I'm developing. It's not something that you can talk about or ask questions about. As long as it's software development, if it's questions about design, if it's questions about this specific project or the other projects that I work on, I'm more than happy to discuss things to talk about software in general. I don't need to stay focused on what I'm doing. I will likely lose focus, but that's okay. Could we do event storming for watering water? I feel like I'd want to do some research and studying on that before I actually try to tackle that. Because again, as I'm the representative, I'm not sure I would. Although I'm not sure how much more there really is to watering water, to be honest. Telling people, prompting people, kind of nudging is really the only features that I'm missing. Yeah, there's much less information. It's very, very simplistic. But that's the purpose, right? It's very simplistic. What resources have you gone off for event storming? Have you read some books or you read some articles? So, so that's that. So the current level, we assigned the current level to the game manager. Then the game manager, when it starts up, is going to current level dot enemy manager equals enemy manager. No. Came up in book club 1 to 2 times now, so read some chapters. No books on the subject. Watched the talk on it, and Ted was the one that said use it in that project. I might have. Um, One after. So I'm just checking. I'm just checking to see if I have a book. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my Kindle library. Oh yeah, read Amazon.com. That's one. Huh. Yeah, because I think I have some books on event storming, which would be worth reading. Collect the mix. Probably not. I have DDD books. Huh. Yeah, I'll. We should talk about it though. I think it might be worth considering that, because it might be good exercise to help people kind of go into how you might analyze the project and the thing and try and discover the things, because that's really what it's about, event storming, right? It's about discovery. I think I've said before, one of the most successful application starts I've ever done was basically we decided we needed a new project, and we basically went off and kind of wrote down our ideas. This is before I'd actually gone for the event storming thing, by the way. This is a different idea by one of our team. And basically we sat down in a room, all the developers, all the subject matter experts, all the product managers, and kind of discussed, okay, what are our goals? And then as we came up with ideas, we wrote them down on a post-it note and pasted them on the wall. We just had the full wall available to us. And then went around and moved the tickets around and kind of created workflows, and ended up with a wall of post-it notes, right? And kind of event storming that it was laying out some of the events, the things that we needed to happen, but it was more focused on the features. But it was quite a productive session to sit down and go through those, and because you could instantly discuss, do you need that? Why do you need that? What was that for? We spent an entire day in a room sticking post-it notes to a wall, but it was quite fun. Okay, so I'm starting to think that this is becoming a super god object, which is driving me nuts. So why do I have a projectile manager and an enemy manager, but I don't have radar? Because if I have radar, then I can assign it to the level as well, right? And then I don't need that. So let's do it that way. What's the worst that happens? And this is why I'm doing this, by the way. This is exactly why I'm doing private radar. That's some good radar. Then current level dot radar equals new radar. But enemy manager has radar. So why don't I just set it right down there? So again, if I do this, remove that one, remove that. Now enemy manager has radar. Go back here. Yeah, well, Sorry. My brain's jumping all over the place because I'm trying to track all these things, and I'm also now thinking about event storming and useful techniques for identifying features. So if I do it that way, then the enemy manager has radar. If I do that, well, I mean, you know how passionate I am about this stuff, right? And I want to learn, and I want to grow, and I want to do things better. And techniques for identifying features and requirements is right exactly where I want it to be, right? I want to provide those tools, and learn more about things so I can actually say, yeah, this ultimately this project management tool is built with experience and knowledge and follows everything that I'm about for software. Yeah, I was very excited by doing that process. I suppose there's a lot I'm missing. But that's growth, right? That's what happens when you get experience of it, right? And they'll be right the first time, but the second time, the third time, you'll learn a little bit more. You'll like certain things, you'll dislike certain things. And that's the way it goes. So what I'm trying to think about right now is, so I have the level. My enemy manager now needs radar, which is probably not the right thing to do. But now radar, so now I put radar back. Hold. Radar. Drag the radar script onto it. Then drag that there. No. Change type. Now you can assign. Not sure. Oh, I probably made radar no 2D, didn't I? Probably because it's some weird. Yeah, I made no 2D. I don't know why. That doesn't need any actual position. So let's see if that now works. So that's a radar. Now I should be able to assign that. No. Okay. So now when that starts up, this is where I'm getting a bit messed up because it's I've got a lot of dependencies, which is starting to drive me crazy. Current scene is game manager, get the player global position. Enemy manager. Enemy dot radar equals radar. Let's see. Uh-oh. Unable to cast objects this level to Godot tile map. Okay. Who said you should do? Which idiot said you should do? Current level. This dot map dot position. You know it's useful if you're reading code to read the stat trace. That'll give you more of a hint. Unable to cast object tile map. To Godot tile map. Who said you should do? Where? Can I do this? Scripts. Level script properties line 31. Right, but that's... That'd be there. Tile map, tile map. Right, level 1. Map is world map, which is a tile map. So we have level 1, map level 1, current level 1. That's all valid. Let's go back and see if we can run through Godot and see if that gives us a different error. Okay. Okay, so problem number 1, we're not moving. So we're starting correctly, but we're not moving it. So the game manager is meant to move the position of the map. So the enemy manager is working, so the radar for the enemy is hooked up by that. So the enemy manager for the level has been wired up. The level is loaded. That's fine. So we have the radar and the enemy manager. So we don't need that anymore either. Because the enemy manager has the radar. And then when the enemy manager starts up, it provides its enemies with radar, which kind of makes sense. It's like, hey, here, by the way, I'm your manager. Here's your resources. Yes, that might be me. On game over, don't invoke. Release those references, otherwise they're going to get stuck. So the game manager. So this part isn't happening, basically. Oh, wow, interesting. So Godot lets it fly. Ah, there's a bunch of... Ah, there we go, that's why. That's null. So the level is the current level. Again. So main current level is level 1. Level 1 has a world map assigned as its map. Do I need to nest this? Add child node. Level 1. Reset that. Make that level. And all this nests under there. Change type node 2D. Can I reparent? Make scene root. There we go. And then this is going to be the world map. Let's see if that changes anything. So it does kind of make a little bit more sense, I suppose. In that is a well, let's see. There you go, that's better. Kinda. So the collisions are happening, but nothing else is happening now. Enemy invoke, so on unit hit. Morning, Wesley, how you doing? On unit hit. Timer was not added to the scene tree, either it add it or set auto start true. How is game dev going? Game dev is going frustrating. I make one little change, and with that doesn't seem to affect things, and yeah, things go off tilt. So I'm trying to basically just grow through this journey by making changes as necessary and kind of stumbling my way through a little bit. Well, a lot. But I seem to hit problems when I don't expect to hit problems. Which timer wasn't added to the scene tree? That's the problem. Ending timer, unless I've got a. Let's do this, because when you kind of, I've noticed when you reorganize nodes, things can get lost. So let's go. No, they're not. Let's delete those 6 nodes, right? So let's add an enemy in there. Let's add another enemy there. Okay, so everything's set. Timer is timer, firing timer, explosion. So these are set. But now they need to be reparented there. No, because they're on the world map. They need to be the world map, otherwise they won't move. Oh, there we go. So it's just because I move things around, I need to reparent them. Okay. Although, yeah. That's the problem. So when I move it in here now, right, it moves it into the level that should be attached to the map, otherwise it won't move up with the map. Right, so even though I'm like, oh, I'm placing it on the map, I'm not really placing it on the map, I'm placing it there. So now the game should work again. There we go. Yeah. And I should get game over when I get hit too many times. Game over. Nice. Okay. So. It's just like things like that where I'm just struggling with things that seem like they should be easy. Score 500. What do I set? Damage. There's apparently 5 kinds of event storming: big picture, process modeling, system design, people experience, and refactoring. Huh, nice. I think I did big picture process modeling there. Yeah, yeah, I think you're at big picture because again, like I said, some of those things weren't events. Some of them are kind of situations. Um, I think you are at big picture. Um, it was extraneous information that wouldn't get modeled anyways. Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. The irony. All right. Deliberate collective learning. Last updated 2021. That's the guy that designed it. So there is no definitive book on event storming. So okay. So what I want to do is when I hit this point, I want to switch the level. So I need to go to level 2. What? I was going to say, level 2 should be blank. Add a child node, which is a tile map. This needs to be a type of level. Right? We'll call that world map. And we can assign that to there. And then tile set load. Level 1. Tile set. It's not saved as a tile set. Hey Mojo, how you doing? How's things? So that's a camera stop. Waking up. Ad break in 1 second. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so level 2, we need a tile map. We need to... how do you save tile set, though? Because that doesn't make sense, right? I don't want to be exporting. I don't want to... Hope that's not a requirement for the morning. I don't plan on waking up for another few hours. Probably not until the morning exercise. Yes. Moving around in the morning is not the same as waking up. Welcome back. Apologies for the ads. Morning one line, by the way. Existing. Wow. That's a really positive spin on the day. Although I suppose it's a lot earlier for you too. That's I need to make sure. I've been trusting that Restream bot's been doing its thing all morning. And I'm using the Restream bot chat, so I'm hoping that if someone comes into YouTube, actually, I probably should test that. Testing. There we go. Okay. So today I have been talking about all sorts of stuff, to be honest. So Dota's been showing me some event storming stuff, which is pretty cool to see. And I have been trying to get this game up and running. And we'll be kind of, yeah, lots of different things. I'm mostly a morning person, but yesterday I lost the first half of my day to meetings. Early morning and late night are most productive hours. Yeah, these days I get so little time at the computer that I'm pretty much productive when I'm streaming, and that's it. And even then, it's not that productive, right? What I'm trying to figure out now is how I save a tile set. Like, how do I save this out? Because this tile set... tiles... I agree with that. I'm most productive between 4:30 and 7:30, and then again from 5 whenever I end for the night. Yeah. I try to start the day as positively as I can. I like sitting coding in the early hours of the morning when the house is quiet. That's definitely positive. If the dogs are settled and my wife and daughter aren't up, I definitely can get a lot of stuff done. I kind of prefer to stay upbeat. I'm looking forward to next week because they're on summer vacation, and that means that in the mornings I can get up at 5 a.m, take the dogs for a walk, go in the pool and spend 30 or 40 minutes just swimming around in the pool, and then get ready for stream, which will be nice. I can freshen up to start my day. But then in the evenings, I do karate pretty much outdoor. It's heated though, so yeah. Yeah, so the goal will be very much to try and stay on top of the exercise, because that's in the evenings I try to do the karate every day, just to keep that exercise up. Otherwise, I'll sit and veg too often. And if I get stuck on stuff, I tend to walk away and go watch movies or TV shows and stuff, which is never good. Okay, so level. Why is this? So I don't have a tile set to load. How do I share it? So what I'm trying to learn is how do I share a tile set? It's pretty much the same. The only thing that really changes my new read is the level anxiety. I don't think I'm necessarily an anxious person. I think I'm nervous when I'm doing this stuff. I'm very nervous about this. It doesn't. It makes me feel. Oh. I'm having a bad day for distraction. My brain's wandering. How to export a tile set? Godot. Using tile sets. Yeah, that's what I want. Focus. It's funny though, the one thing that's different is I decided to, so I bought my wife a cold brew coffee maker years ago, and she's never used it. And this weekend I'm like, it's sat in a box, I'm going to use it. So I started my day drinking cold brew coffee. So probably more coffee than I'm used to first thing in the morning. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. Like right now I'm getting frustrated with things like, oh well, if I move something around, all its behavior changes, and it seems like a simple shift. The behavior shouldn't change, but where it lies in this tree can make all the difference to how it behaves. Because this isn't just an association; this is a layering of such. It kind of, if I don't have these in underneath this world map, then they don't move with the world map. There's all sorts of little things like that that keep catching me out. Merging several atlases. After creating a scenes collection, you can enter a descriptive name. How do I export it? Using tile maps. Saving and loading. So what this is talking about is Captain Fubar was talking about. I can kind of make the elements part of the tile map, and then I can just paint them on and they'll work. But I'm not that advanced yet. So if I go in here, create new resource tile set. Okay. Tile set. Resource. Right. Okay, so that's this tile set that I'm working on. Atlas tiles. What tile set is that? This is from Kenny. This is Kenny.nl. Welcome in, Akuma, by the way. shmup? No. It's one of these anyway. Tiny town. 2D. Top-down shooter. One of these. Oh, did I put a C in it, didn't I? Yeah. Pixel shmup. It's this one. There you go. Okay, so the problem with that is the offsets are wrong, so I need to separation 1, 1. That aligns them, right? Yes, it does. So then with the greenery saved, what I can do is I can now go into the scenes, level 2, and I should be able to assign that tile map to that. So I've got the same tile map. So now I could actually paint a bit better. Now, problem is this doesn't necessarily start at 0, 0. Right? I suppose it does, but there's 0, 0. So I don't get why. Where that would be the case. But if you're new to the stream, I'm trying to learn how to do game dev on my Monday and Tuesday streams. I'm getting there bit by bit. I think. I think. So let's paint. How do I do this now? Oh yeah, paint. Eraser. Okay. That's that. Let's do line of trees. Like, why did you choose a C# route? Well, because I've been a C# developer for 20 years. So it's kind of been a natural go-to for me. So I'm not scared of the language. I'm scared of the tools. So it's just a natural thing for me to want to do, right? Okay, so I'm not going to worry too much about decorating this too much, because otherwise I'm going to get focused on the wrong things. The main thing is I need to know that the level is moving. So what's your route, Akuma? You just started in game dev? You just started programming? So what I want to do is when I hit level 1, the top of level 1, when I hit this trigger point, right, I want to event that I'm out of the ordering. Yeah, I'm new to game dev, but I've been in dev for almost 8 years now. Nice. Yeah, so you've been building applications and stuff, but Yeah, in the late 90s, I started trying to write some game stuff. I did a lot of DirectX stuff, tried to build 2D stuff back then, but I had no idea. And game programming in general has always intimidated me. But then I just decided to commit a little bit of energy to it and just deal with it. Because the biggest problem I have with game dev is kind of this, and I'm going into this world now with this, in that I have these things that know about everything. So, which in regular app dev I just wouldn't do. I wouldn't create these God objects, as I term them, because they seem counterproductive to everything. But representing those relationships and stuff isn't something I need to worry about. What I need to worry about is getting information back and forth in the most efficient way possible. So I can see why it's necessary. And as I grow with this, maybe that becomes simpler. Yeah, have you seen the JavaScript dev experience lately? Well, my normal stuff is .NET and Angular. So client-side stuff is it's kind of my nemesis anyway, regardless. But yeah. What's the most intimidating pieces for you in game dev or app development? So what I want to do is, who knows about that event? Game. It's just sheer. It's just the. To me, it feels banal. In game development, it's the. And so let me flip it back. So application development. I've been building applications for a long time. I'm used to the workflows, right? So with web apps, with .NET, something like this, right? I have an entry point, so I create an API. I configure all my stuff, my dependency injection, and say, okay, when you ask for this, you get this. And yes, there is this kind of knows everything about everything, but it gives me the things I need at the times I need them, right? I don't have to necessarily wire up everything. There's no object keeping track of everything that I reference. I have an endpoint. A request comes in. It does a thing. In this case, I send that thing to this other thing that has a specific responsibility. And now that actions something by changing data or returning data, and it goes back. So that workflow just makes sense to me. It fits. I can do things. I can be productive. The client side is more intimidating in that respect, because the client side is a lot, depending on how you do it, the client side starts to become a lot more behavioral, and there's a lot of quirks when you get to CSS and JavaScript, etc. So the client side is definitely the most intimidating thing. Again, with the server side, I have eventing. I can publish events. I use Kafka in this application, right? I publish out events to say things changed, and other parts of my system can react. I can trace it through very easily. With game dev, it feels very inefficient, some of the things that you have to do, and I think that's held me back, because things like when I get the enemies, when the enemy manager starts up, I go and loop through and get all the enemies, and then I go and set things on those enemies. This seems, that's a pretty simple thing, but constantly checking for things, all these different things. Who knows about what, when, and I've overthought overthought this. I was going to say overthought this a lot in terms of, oh, well, I need to know just here, right? I have this game manager. The game manager knows the current level. It knows where the camera is. It knows who keeps the score. It knows who manages the enemies. It knows what the game over scene looks like. It knows what the player is. As a projectile manager, the projectile manager has very little to do, but the level has the map and all these things. So these relationships are very much front and center. And I worry about being inefficient. And what I've done is I've decided that, you know what? I'm not going to learn game dev if I don't try game dev and take the same approach. It's okay to fail. And that's why I'm building this, because it doesn't matter. This is just an experiment of sorts, in that I'm going to figure out these pieces and learn some of the lessons I need to learn. And by doing it publicly, by streaming it, I really can't backtrack on that, because I'm going to fail either way. I can't just go, oh, it's too hard, and walk away. So it is intimidating, just the entire concept. Streaming it is doing a number on my fear there, but it's virtual DOM. Client side stuff is the most intimidating part of application development these days, by far. So what I want to do, what I'm trying to figure out right now is, again, this responsibility thing, right? For me, the game dev itself is not that hard part. Hard main thing is the art that's hard. Yeah. Well, the art, I'm like, with this tile set, I'm happy to do this. It's the concepts that bog me down. And that might come from I spend a lot of my time thinking about design and thinking about efficiency and trying to figure out the best way to achieve things. And then I come to game dev, and a lot of game dev is definitely throw stuff against the wall first. For certain. Just from what I've experienced so far. But I love games. It is a passion. Who knows about what when? So, I think the camera knows about this. That's the problem. Yeah, the camera knows about this. So the camera fires on camera stopped. And it knows if it's final. Well, that becomes final. If area is not camera stop, then there you go. So test if it's a type of camera stop. That's good enough. And then make that variable camera stop, and then passing is final into on camera stopped. The idea being there that I could actually hit a point on the screen where I hit an enemy or something, and then when the enemy is done, I can trigger the camera again. Whether I'm going to use that, I don't know. But I'm certainly not playing by Yagni rules in this. So the problem there is the camera on camera stopped. So I do know the camera stopped. Ordered list. Can I do this? Export public level array level. see if there's bullets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger. Okay, so we have main. Add element, assign. Yeah, that's the problem. Level 1. You're a level. You're a level. Oh no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to make them. What do I want to make them? Not array of level. It's array of. What is this? Vaccine. Levels. Unready. Current level. Let's try this. So we can do that. Then what my thought is that's level 1. Load. Level 1. It doesn't work. Why do you not work? Cutscene. Is it a cutscene? Yeah, pack scene is a game over scene. So here I have the game over scene, that's the pack scene. So why won't that work? Oh, it does work. Load scenes level 2. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to reset level 1. I want to remove level 1 from there. So the game will load level 1. Again, experimenting is it's the order of the day. So on ready, no, on enter tree, current level equals levels. No. Level 0 instance. Oh, because I need to create it, don't I? Public, private, void, load, next level. Private int, level. Assume level equals level Let's see if this works. What is the worst that happens? And yes, I realize I didn't increment that index then, but basically what I'm expecting, or what I'm hoping for, is when I hit F5, the level is loaded in and I'm playing it on level 1. Meh. It's weird that it just loads it and just throws a bunch of errors. Like, that's not invalid, really. Okay, so create new instance of path. Let's see, what is the correct way to do this? Instantiate. Oh, I'll get it right there. So it is the right way. Did I create it? So now the problem is, where do I relay it? Where do I put it? And it's not just that, it's it can't be null. Right. If level is null, then that's gonna work. That's not gonna work. Interesting. Oh, you know what? You know what's really useful? If you actually call the method. If you actually call the method that you want to actually load up, then things might work a bit better. So it's not working, but I bet that's because add child level. I bet I'm not adding it to the scene. So the problem there is we need to get current scene and add it to the this. So I'm never gonna change away from that main level screen, right? That main has all the components in it. I'm just gonna switch out the world map that's flowing behind it. So if we do that and game manager no, not that one. Actually, that might work. The problem is the ordering. That might be the challenge. Oh no. Oh, we're close. We're colliding, we're just not showing. Mr. Ranholm, thank you very much for 57 months. My apologies, didn't have the Twitch screen up. Good morning, hope you're well. So I'm using the Restream bot client this morning to do the chat. I'm trying to figure out what the right path is for Twitch and YouTube streaming. So I've kind of got it where I'm good with the chat. The streamer bot isn't stunning at doing the 2 channels, but it does work. but it doesn't tell me events happen in Restream bot. So from Restream. So add child Godot index. How do I add it as a? How do I add a node as the first child? So there's no ordering on that one. But there's no... Does this return a reference? There's a void. Child node. Hold on, that doesn't make sense what I just showed. If the child node already has a parent, the function will fail. Use remove child first to remove the node. Add sibling. Adds a sibling node to the current node's parent at the same level as that node right below it. Let's try. So if we add child, we get one behavior. If we add sibling, we get the other behavior. So with this one, we don't see the plane, but we do see the bullets. And we do get collisions, so we do get the score. Right? If we add sibling, we see the plane and we see the score, but we don't see the actual level. So the suggestion there was, let's go back over the font of the stuff. If you need to add the child node to be added below a specific node in the list of children, use add sibling instead of this method. If you want a child to be persisted to a pack scene, you must set owner in addition to calling add child. This is typically relevant for if it's called without setting owner, the newly added node will not be visible in the scene tree, though it will be visible in the 2D, 3D view. Add sibling. Add a sibling node to current node parent at the same level as that node right below it. So let's have a look. Let's see what this does. So I need to make sure I keep changing this one and not. I keep going on player death here. Also, if anyone is interested, the code for this is I am sharing it. So if anyone wants this code, which I don't know why you would, but if you want this game in its current form to tinker with, you're more than welcome to it. It is in my GitHub, which is the TBD Friends GitHub, the stream one. So what I want to do is I want to run the app, and then I want to go and see the remote. And main, you see how the level's not added there? So it didn't add it there. I want it to be there. I want it to be below that. If I add child, and run, right? Go to remote, it's there. But I want it to be there. So how do I add it? How do I get current? What was it? What was the get tree current scene? Okay. So I'm doing there. I don't know. I don't think that's going to make a difference. No. So that did not add that in at all. Do add child, but it's the same thing. Yeah, so that's loaded. But it doesn't add the node. It doesn't add that node in there at all. And nothing, no enemies are in there either. So it's not like it's. But if I add child, it adds it to the end. So add sibling, not adding to scene tree. Godot C#. That's just how to navigate that. So when again, I suppose the events are. No, where's my job? When the events, so the level, there's no one ready on the level, so it's fine. The enemy manager does have a ready, which loads the enemies up in that group, so that should fire. Enemy manager, game manager, but it's not adding it to the scene. Is the that's fine. Add sibling. It doesn't do anything. And add child adds it to the wrong thing. This can't be an uncommon problem because add child as first element of scene tree. Welcome back. So yesterday and today, I've done game dev, right? The aim is to try and get this working bit by bit. Tomorrow, I'll be returning to Liquid Sky, which is my main application. And actually, Mojo, this is the clean architecture stuff. This is a modular monolith. So I'll be returning to this tomorrow. So more app dev tomorrow, getting on with the main app. Try and get those requirements showing. That'll be tomorrow. Assuming I get this figured out, this would be nice, because what I'm aiming for today with this is I want to get this loaded in, and can I hold on? Good. Sorry, just had a stroke of maybe I can do this. I have a high level understanding of clean architecture, and by high level I mean I know what the words are. So, fun fact: when I was reorganizing the code to kind of align with clean architecture, and again, the only reason I did it was because it is a common thing to see these days, and if I align the terminology when I'm describing it on stream, it's a little easier for people to kind of comprehend. But I looked at 4 of the main clean architecture examples I could find, and they didn't agree. No one was alike with the others. They all followed a similar pattern, but they all had different interpretations as to what it actually meant. What they call them, what they, how they structure it, what they name things, they all differ. So, yeah. So I label everything app, domain, and infrastructure. And then the API this is the view, or the presentation layer. Can I do replace node in scene tree? Godot. No, just example use domain and infrastructure core confuses me. Yeah. So there's a few. Yeah, so there is a few examples. I don't think I've got. Yeah, I do have them open. So this is Amichai, who's this is his self-professed ultimate clean architecture, right? I'm not throwing shade there. I'm just saying that's the way he terms it, the ultimate clean architecture, right? It's quite a layout. There's a lot of description, a lot of text. He does full courses. There's a few dome train, a few, videos out there with him. But he does have this entire thing. Then there's Steve Smith, Ardalis, who is the one that built the clean architecture, the eShop on web stuff with Microsoft. So there's books and stuff based around this stuff. Again, a lot of discussion, a lot of description, etc. So these 2 examples. And then Jason Taylor is someone who goes around talking about clean architecture and stuff as well. Also deemed an expert, I believe, from what I can tell. And there was a 4th one, which I can't actually find right this second. But these 3, if you actually look at the code, they're not the same. They kind of follow similar concepts. API application contracts domain infrastructure, core infrastructure use cases web, right? Use cases is application, core is domain, right? and hey, Junicus, how you doing? And then Jason Taylor, application domain infrastructure web. So the structuring of them is very different. And again, they end up with, some of these are a little easier to kind of visualize that distributed nature. Some of them not very easy because they don't worry about distribution. They're worried about the single application. With my stuff, I actually am worrying about individual components. So these are the modules of the monolith, right? So they all follow that structure. And then there's things, you get into quirks like, where does this live? Where does that live? You know, when is it a domain service? When is it not? So, and I'm procrastinating now because it's easier to talk about that stuff than it is to talk about how to get this node added in here. Have you seen the modular monolith DDD repo? I probably have. One day I will actually figure out a solid DDD example. Yeah, then I definitely have seen it because I'll look at a lot of Ardalys's stuff. I'm using a lot of Ardalys's stuff for my pieces as well. For access to the database, so the repository stuff, that's all Ardalys, specifications, etc. Gives me a lot of flexibility. I'm using his result library. I was using his endpoints library, but I switched out for fast endpoints, so that got a little bit more organized. Just check something quick. Oh, other side. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's no linking, unfortunately. We try to link me to that repo. I'll bring it up. I got heavily spammed several months ago, so I'm a little bit too overly cautious, maybe. Repositories, monolith. Nice. So he's building that out. Don't do it. Ugh. Okay, so he's starting with the weather stuff, but yeah. Yeah, that's annoying me. That it seems like Pluralsight has fallen out of favor with the developers, and Dome Train has kind of stepped in. And I have a subscription to Pluralsight, and I'm not spending the money that Dome Train is asking. Because I have a few of the videos, a few of the series, but I'm not. Yeah. 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 Pluralsight isn't cheap anymore, but Dome Train is expensive. And they don't. Yeah. $60 a month. Like, oof. Per user. So there's no saving. Like, make it $5.49 a year per user if you've got more than one user. Or something like that. So they must be paying really well to the authors. Not all his videos anymore. Oh yeah, there is a saving, absolutely. $600 though is a lot of money. And again, I'm measuring that against the amount of time I actually can sit and watch something, and I don't get. I have a problem in that I'm kind of. I get bored of the initial stages because I've seen so much of it and I've tried to study so much of it that the first half of most of the courses is stuff that I don't want to rehash, or I get bored with their presentation of, so then I don't watch the later half because then I lose context of the entire project. So yeah, access to the support forum soon. So $60 a month. A Pluralsight content has got kind of old and long in the tooth. They have different processes now. Yeah, $45 a month. So yeah, I paid that. But again, a lot of their courses are pretty old now, so you've got to kind of on the topics I want to study. I just have a problem with paying for training videos, since I would rather scour through many different training materials and pull out the relevant bits without having to pay to do that. What skills? Yeah, I tend to agree. The problem is with something like domain-driven design, it's great when people show you here's bounding context, here's entities, here's value objects, etc. They go through all that, and then the sample that they give you is pretty thin. That's always the challenge with tutorial content. Tony White, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome in. I apologize for going off the game topic right towards the end of the stream. By the way, this is I'm just getting frustrated with that node thing, so it's allowed me to divert. But yeah, that is true. Well, very every so often it's a good source. Problem is getting good results in search engines. Some topics get you some really old stuff. Yeah. I mean, for me, I just need to find the energy and time to sit down and go through the books. I think, because I think I know enough on some of the topics that I want to study that I don't need the videos. Again, it's why having a good sample project, a good project to work off of, is useful. Add sibling does not add to scene tree. I've not found a single training video that helps me create something on my own. And you often won't. I think it's the benefit of streaming. If you actually can sit down and follow along, or you can be inspired by moments on a stream or ask questions directly. I think there's a great benefit in that. Like Ardalis did use to stream, and he would answer questions really openly. But he'd be plugging away on one of those samples. But then when you asked him a question, you could actually dig into that, and he would actually change things or discuss why they were there and go into that detail. So it does give that question and answer moment, which I think is actually missing from a tutorial. Um, yeah, I think experience is the differentiator there. I know experience as much as having done it a lot, not being taught anything necessarily, but being able to go through and figure out what works for you to give you the information you need. Again, a lot of what we do is, I don't know. I think we all get by on a little bit of knowledge. Yeah. TBD, do you have a list of things you want to achieve in this game, like a list of features you want to get? In this game, roughly. I want to be able to do. Again, I'm trying to focus on the scene transition right now, and then I want to get the skulls and things like that. So it's basically just I want to put transitions in, some waves of planes coming in, so I can focus on adding things in more dynamically and yeah. I'm just using it as a kind of experiment on all the things. Sikel's Music, welcome in. How you doing? Most tutorials on YouTube are just flexes with information. I mean, most tutorials are trying to share something that they've learned. I get that. I mean, I try to do it. I don't do very well because I can't. I can never focus long enough to make a video of any real content. And I kind of prefer people to say, hey, this would be helpful because you've gone over it on stream. Could you make an actual video focused on this topic? But I don't really get that. I've asked for it before, but people don't really chase that. So they're either co-working or what with the stream. But I don't like just throwing out videos that I think would be helpful because I've gone over that content already. The approach I take, and Akuma, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. I didn't see the follow come up. I do apologise for not saying thank you. The approach I take, because this happens to me, is to read through, do the tutorial, repeat until comfortable, try to make the tutorial project on my own, referencing the tutorial, I'm going to get stuck, and do this until I can do it myself, start changing things about the project to fit what I'm trying to achieve. I'm very bad at following tutorials. I get bored very quickly. I need to apply it to something that I don't understand. So I'll often, even if I'm starting a tutorial, I'll often make it about what I'm doing, so that then I'm off track with the tutorial to begin with, which is never. It's not really a stunning idea, but it does kind of work for me. The repetition thing, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's essentially code katas on a different scale. Practice is everything about what you're doing. Right. Sikels, yeah. Trial and error. Just keep doing stuff, right? And just realize that there is no one way of doing anything. People are quick to criticize. People are quick to say, "Oh, why are you doing that wrong? Oh, I don't like the way you're doing that. Oh, that's wrong." And some of that is based on experience. Some of that is based upon they've read a book that tells them this is the way to do things, and now they're following that quite rigidly. And now it's wrong because this person who wrote a book on it clearly knows more. I've read enough books and met enough people who've written books to know that isn't always the case. Just because you write a book doesn't mean that you actually know everything about the thing. It means you can collect the information together and put it into a form that people can read. So I'm definitely more willing to try and experiment, learn, and grow through doing rather than get a lot further with documentation and trial and only go to YouTube if you have a very specific concept to look up. I mean, what this is highlighting is just we do have very different ways of learning the same thing, and there's no one perfect way, right? Morning Trap, by the way. I owe a shout out, by the way. you haven't been there before, I mean, I know several people have, but One Line is a fantastic streamer, a really great place to hang out, and also does a lot of .NET stuff, and is better at the design stuff. So, as I've been struggling through this recently, this has been quite the challenge to get this layout working. One Line is focused on that sort of the laying out and the design parts right now. You can't put the keywords of your question in quotes in a search engine and get results, and it's too broad of a question to get meaningful results. And I think that's where oh, I think you are better than you actually believe. I think that's where GPTs I've used Gemini a lot more recently, and I've found that this is very much, I like being able to conversate to try and get to the point of my question. So I'm able to ask some questions and realize where I'm too vague. Whereas with a pure search engine, you type something in and you kind of get like results. The GPTs definitely allow you to interact a little bit more and kind of narrow in on what the question is you're asking. Okay. So I've got to figure out why add sibling doesn't exist in scene tree. Actually, let's try it. Let's test exactly what I was just talking about, right? Gemini. How do I add a node as the first element of the scene tree? Godot with C#. Add sibling is the answer, kind of, but it's not working for me. That's the challenge. It doesn't add it to the scene tree. But hold on. So the solution that it offered me is to remove everything else and then add the new one. If you want to preserve the original structure, loop through the previously removed children and add them back to the root node as children. What about add sibling? Right. So if I do, the problem with that is, so I'll say, so if we do get parent dot add sibling, we can try it. I think that's one thing I haven't tried, to be honest. So the thing I've been seeing so far is, you see how the level's not added? Oh, doesn't, yeah, add child. The problem with that is, watch. Although I haven't tried get parent. I don't know what get parent's going to get me. Yeah, that doesn't work. If I do just add child, so you see level 1's added there. Right, because that's natural. Add child will just pop it onto the end of the list. If I do add sibling, which is what the documentation says, if you need to add it to the top, to the parent's first node, So this is going to be something that is a solved problem. So it doesn't get added. Oh, you want to push. Excuse you, what? So this definitely seems like something. The add sibling method in Godot is not designed to add a node as the first child of the scene. It's meant to add a node as a sibling to another existing node within the hierarchy. Here's why add sibling won't work in this case. Requires existing sibling. Oh. Requires a reference to an existing node in the scene tree. You can't use it directly on the root node as it doesn't have a sibling by definition. Adds the new node after the reference sibling node. It wouldn't achieve this functionality of placing it as first child. Okay, so that's why. So the documentation, if I just go over that, why I was confused by that then. Yeah, because I have to add it as a child. It's a sibling to a child. If you need the child node to be added below a specific node in the list of children, use add sibling. So get child 0. I'll see how that behavior changes. It's wrong. It's very wrong. I mean, it works. So that works because the camera is the first element. So that it got that child and added it as a sibling of that child. Yeah. So that is maybe where they remove the child first, then add the other one, so they sort it that way. And that's how a comment lands in code. So that very much depends on the camera being, or rather, yeah. So what I could do there, because I'm going to leave that as is. If current level, and I know I've got to finish up, but if current level is not null, then get child 0 dot remove child dot remove sibling current level. No, that's not a thing. Is there a way to move the nodes around? Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff, but current level dot q3. That's not going to work. I don't want to do that. Let's try that. Starting my workday and productivity flow. I'll catch you in Discord. Thanks for stream. Mojo, thank you very much for coming in. Welcome. I appreciate it. Have a great day. And yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop because I really am running out of time. I've got to get ready for work. But again, the goal right now will be once I hit the block on the top of level 1, right? Once I hit that blocker, the level will shift to level 2 and start me flowing up level 2, and then I'll work on the transitions, etc. So again, what I'm practicing is, can I load scenes in here? Can I manipulate screens? Can I add text over? Can I trigger things? Can I have some, intelligence? I'm just trying to put these pieces together to get more understanding of how I work within Godot. Just added the 4 other kinds of event storm into that code base. Did it quickly with ChatGPT, so I'll have to go back over it a couple of times at least. Nice. I'll check it out afterwards. I'll have a look, and we'll continue the conversations about event storming and water drink water as well. I'll do a bit more reading on the side. So, okay, so we're doing game dev. Is he doing game dev today? No, he's playing a game. I think Fullbot suffers from more it might still be streaming. So let's go see Beaks. I would think that might be a job for Area 2Ds to trigger scenes to load. Right. I mean, I'm kind of, again, I'm making this up as I go along so that I can learn some lessons. I'm going to learn some harsh lessons along the way. I realize that. But, it's kind of the fun that I'm just embracing I don't know what I'm doing. Let me stumble around and fall. I'm not closed to any advice. I appreciate the inputs and I appreciate the assistance. I'm not denying that, but it's just more, I know that I'm going to struggle. So, yeah. So, thank you for coming along and joining me for the ride. Let's go see Biggs. Biggs is currently doing mechanically challenged portals in Unity. So, yeah, he's tinkering with that. I appreciate the words being thrown though. I appreciate the assistance. Thank you very much. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow doing app dev. We'll be back on Liquid Sky. I'm going to be working on putting the requirements in this screen and figuring out what the workflow looks like. Robotech, hello, how you doing? Yeah, sadly I'm finishing up right this second. We've been doing some game dev. We've been getting the shoot 'em up working, and yeah, you need to watch the movie Liquid Sky. I'll have to give it a go. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with app dev, and yeah. So let's go see Biggs, and I will see you all later. Thank you all. Take care. Have a great day.